Alright, we've got our ears now. We need to put them onto the head. Now, this is no small feat. More often than not, I find myself going through the surgery, so to speak, to get these things working together. And it's not simple, it's not fun or enjoyable, but you know what? We're grown-ups here. We can make it happen. Alright, so let me start out with the first thing that I would do. I would personally start right here because I think these two edges match up the most, so I'm just going to go ahead and bridge those over. I think that's a good start. Now, that's about the easiest as this is going to get. From here on out, it's going to get difficult. My first thought is that I would kind of like to have this bridged over to here, but I've got some extra geometry, and possibly for the better. I need to think about where my ear starts, and I'm going to say it starts at the upper end of the brow. So let's go ahead and experiment. Let's go ahead and try and get rid of some of this extra geometry and just bridge it over. Sooner or later, we're going to have to connect it all together, and when that day comes, or moment comes, it'll be right around the corner. But for now, let's just go ahead and select those 3 polygons. Let's delete them, and let's just connect or bridge this area to this area, just like such. And now things get interesting. I'm inclined not to focus too much on that area. I'll figure it out when I get there, but for now, let's try and get some of this back area hooked up to the back of the head as well. I can definitely see this area, these vertices, potentially working together, so let me go ahead and target weld this vertex to this vertex. Oops. Try that again. And I did the wrong one. Let's try that again. Alright. Hold on a second. Am I on vertices or am I on edges? Ooh, there's my problem right there. I need to be on vertices when I target weld these suckers. Let's try again. Alright, that's working. Let me go ahead and target weld here to there. And the rest of this we will make adjustments to. I am going to pull this down a little bit, maybe push it forward a touch, and this area I can tweak up and over, or out actually, would probably be better. Okay, now that we've done that, I do have, I basically have this area cordoned off in the sense that I could cap it and then start using my cut tool to create the geometry around this area. It's probably what I'll end up doing, and I want to do something as close to that as I possibly can. In fact, let me go ahead and see if I can't grab this and this edge and see if I can't bridge those. Let's see what happens. You know what? I can call it from right here. I should have kept the that other set of polygons, which means I need to get rid of this, which is a bit of a shame because I don't know, it's kind of nice, but too bad. I need this geometry back, so I'm going to extrude this out, and I'm going to target weld it to its previous spots over here. Like I said, nothing glamorous about attaching the ear to the head. It is arduous, and it is annoying, and it is, well, not for the faint of heart. I'm going to incline this over towards this area a little bit, and now I will bridge this over. That is feeling more natural. I do want to get some of this over though, because it's a little too close. Hang on a second, let me go inside the head here, make sure that this is still working. That is still a quad, believe it or not. Just a very interestingly shaped quad. As is this. In fact, let me go ahead and push that out. Push these out as well. Okay. I will continue dealing with that in a little bit, but for now let me go ahead and get the back end connected, because that's actually the easiest of all of this, and I want to start with the easy and I'll work my way into the hard. Okay, so for this rear geometry, this is actually relatively simple to work through. I'm literally just going to create connections all the way across here and just target weld all this stuff together. I'm not worried about the geometry that it creates. I can control it pretty well, but in this particular case, I think it's just the simplest thing to do. So I'm going to ring this, and I'm going to do a couple of connects. And I'm not going to use the numeric tool because I hate the numeric tool. So anyways, ring, connect. Let's just start with those. I will, let's see, who will get connected to whom? That is the question. I'm going to go ahead and target weld these, the head to the ear. Oops, wrong one. And I need at least one more connection, so let's go ahead and make that happen. And connect. There we go. Okay, go back to verts. Target weld. The geometry back here is a little bit disgusting. So it needs some it needs a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of love. But I shouldn't give it too much time because I still have to deal with the rest of the back of the head, and that really is the important part in this case. So let me quit fooling around back here, and let's bring ourselves back around to this area. Okay, let me try and develop a real plan. Ultimately, what needs to happen is this jaw needs to be connected with this back area, and I can see that pretty clearly right now. I'm actually going to go ahead and bridge this area off, and you can kind of see, you can start to see through this the things that need to be connected across and the things that need to be connected the rest of the way through. So I can already see that I'm going to need a couple of more connects on there. That's fine. And for now I'm just trying to get this thing blocked in. This whole back area is going to need a good bit of tweaking eventually. Okay, I'm thinking I want to wrap the rest of this around to the back of the neck as well, because I think that would be a good place for it. So let me go ahead and extrude this out, and let me go ahead and add a ring and connect here, and I will target weld all this stuff. Alright. Now I've got all that base geometry working pretty well. Like I said, it's going to need lots and lots of tweaks. But you can, I believe, start to see the direction I'm going in with the geometry that we have. start to pull some of this back, just a touch. Start to actually use the geometry I have, because right now it's all just flat and dull and boring. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do one. Yeah, I'm going to do one more connect through here to through the back of the neck to connect the ear to the body. And push that back a touch. Bring it down. And now I will just. Actually, you know what? Let's, instead of doing the drag over, let's do the bridge. There we go. I wonder if I should have kept the ear disconnected. Well, I can always make adjustments. That's the beauty of 3D modeling, is that you can always go back and tweak it. But for now, I'm sort of feeling having it together. All right. Alright, let me go ahead and target weld. Oops. There we go. And for now that'll do. I need to get back focused on the rest of this area. But now that I've blocked that off, I think you can start to see how I can solve at least a couple of these problems. Now, they won't all be this obvious, mind you, but this helps you just get yourself where you need to go for the rest of your object. You know, it's just, that's why they call it that's why they call a lot of it blocking, because it's, you know, getting the general stuff taken care of and then starting to work on the specific. But yes, now I have both of these areas cordoned off pretty well, and I can start getting into detail with them. It's still going to be difficult. I can show you right now. Let me go ahead and cap this so that you can see what I'm talking about. I've got a couple of freebies here in terms of I could probably just connect these verts straight together, but what am I going to do with all of this extra geometry? Am I just going to cut all the way through to here, to this little spot on the nose? That doesn't seem like a good idea. That seems like a poor use of the geometry that we have. So we've got to figure out a reasonable way to get some of this done. Now check this out. If I wanted to, I could probably bring this vert down, and here's what I'm thinking. Let me go ahead and just show you. I'm thinking backspace, get rid of this edge, reconnect this to here. Now mind you, that leaves this this n-gon here, and I don't want to leave that there. But I was contemplating having an extra edge loop around this area so that I could give a little more detail to the nose, to the cheeks, to all that sort of stuff. And it would even out the amount of geometry that I'm using in that area. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm actually going to ring this area. I'm going to connect, and I'm going to finally just wrap up by connecting here to here. And now that's all quad again, including over here, although it looks a bit odd, it is still quad. And I am going to have to use the rest of this geometry to start making adjustments to his cheeks and facial features, because now I've got the new geometry to work with. And I don't want to leave that flat, because if I use a ton of connects and just leave them flat like that, then it will flatten the character. Of course, I should probably be using that tool that Jonathan pointed out to us, but you know what? It's just not in my repertoire yet. I need to get used to having it there, used to having it exist, so to speak. in my mind. So anyway, let me go ahead and get some of this forward. Alright. That'll do for now. Let me go ahead and pull this forward. I don't know why, but I feel like it should be. Got the jaw jutting out there. That's fine. I kind of want that. I do still have this area to deal with. I got to be careful because I was just about to get rid of that. How best to deal with this? Sometimes it's not a bad idea to rework the puzzle, and by that I mean just basically getting rid of a few spots and then retweaking it and seeing what you can come up with. Okay, I still have the end gone. Don't think that it's taken care of. But this is what I'm thinking. Do you remember what I told you about N-gons and where they are allowed? They are allowed in the orifices, the back of the eye socket, up the nostril, in the mouth, and in this case, I'm thinking inside the ear hole. So let's go ahead and readjust this topology so that this N-gon becomes quad and then wraps into the ear, and we'll just leave our N-gon there. That will probably be the easiest way to deal with this nasty geometry. Does that make sense? I hope so. Because it makes sense to me. Right now I'm just trying to get it as even as possible. Alright, good, I'm ready to go. Let's see, okay, so we've got... Yeah, I should be able to just use my cut tool. And I should be able to just cut from here to here, and that gets rid of my quad geometry there. I will wrap it all the way through to there. And into the back end. Alright, there. Now my N-gon is moved all the way to the polygon in the very back of the ear where no one will notice it. And there is my cheat. The rest of this I can use to round out that ear hole a little bit. And beyond that, I should be good. Alright, here, hold on, let's go ahead and very quickly take a look at this in Mesh Smooth and, monitor our progress. Alright, this area is connected pretty clearly. I've got a couple of nooks and crannies to deal with back here, but otherwise it's connected, and it's all quad, so it's working pretty well. That leaves this top area here. So we are making progress. We're doing a good job. And by we, I really mean me, because I'm the one doing all the work here, so there. Deal with it. Alright. Now, we're going to do this the same way that we dealt with the area down here, and that is to cap off the area and then just slowly build off of it with our geometry and see how we can creatively solve those problems. Okay, we're at 19 minutes. I'm actually going to cut off, and I will continue this in the next round.